Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is an interview we're doing with Gamerhub and Braintonik Game Studios. I'm sat here joined by, I think, the two directors of Braintonik. I've got
Yes.
Nicholas and
Hi.
Jean-Pierre. Say hello, guys.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you.
Hi. So today we are going to be learning a little bit more about the studio and the upcoming game that they've got currently at the moment out in early access via Steam called Spheriums. I have played a little bit of it. It's very, very good, but we're going to find out a little bit more for you today. Can you guys tell me a little bit about Braintonik and the history of the studio? So how was it you sort of came to be?
Nikolai and I have been friends for quite a while now and always share some interest about video games, especially older. Well, I say especially, but not only, but a part of it. We started some personal project like we revamped a pinball machine together, and we built an arcade cabinet for a video game with a RetroPie and all
So
the
much fun.
decals and everything, which was a nice personal project. And during the pandemic, we started play more together, different games, especially Astroneer and Empyrean, games like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
after a while, we were a bit
Yeah,
bored
bored.
about
Yeah.
well, in fact, we had to choose a new game, and then we had the idea that we might try to look at the technology behind Unreal Engine and start a very small project about a game. And so we did. And surprisingly, it started to work quite fast. Unreal Engine is quite a nice package, I would say.
Yeah.
So in a matter of weeks, we had something, and we even started to build around a story for a game. And then we decided, okay, yeah, we'll create a game. And it started like that, and it's that started in 2020 around October.
Yeah.
Around November, we had something. In December, we decided that we would start a company, and all the things that we had to do to start Braintonik Game Studio came to a start in May 2021, something like that. So it's how it started.
So how was it that you sort of got into or learned to develop games? Is it something was it a hobby initially or?
Well, from my side, I've always been playing game, since I was a kid, I started with the old Atari 400 and 800 and Commodore 64, and I always liked a game. And in fact, after that, I've been working at company like Soft Image for 3D stuff. I also create a small game on the old Xbox 360, the community, what was it called? Xbox Community.
Xbox Community.
Yeah, with XNA, I believe. And I created this small game with my kids called Virus War, and I had, a lot of fun. And then, I was working at a company called Audiokinetic, where we created
Yeah.
Wise middleware engine. I was the CTO there. And
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I was used also a little bit with Unreal Engine because we integrated the Sun Engine into Unreal, Unity, and all of those stuff. So it was, always something I was looking for at one point. And yeah, for me, it's a passion,
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. How about you, Jean-Pierre?
On my side, I've got quite a different background. I always loved video games from the times of the arcades when I was a teenager. But I have a background in engineering, and I've
Okay.
been doing software development for numerous years. And I have quite an interest also in mechanics,
Yeah.
things like that, and some inclination on artistic activities like music. So
Oh wow, yeah.
in this adventure, it was a good opportunity for me to use my artistic uh, I would not say talent, but at least
Well, I would. I
interest.
would definitely use that.
You're good.
So instead, surprisingly, instead of doing software development like I used to be, I was more involved with the development of the assets in Blender, the creation of the different characters, the environment, the animation, and stuff like that.
Spherium, so you play a little bit, Joe, right? For the video?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
But for the people who haven't played.
Yes, yes. So basically, Spherium, is a single player, adventure. It's part adventure, part first person shooter, and you're going to travel around, six different type of world. We try to craft those world are very unique type of world, and you are a small sphere of energy, and your name is Arcos. And you are, of course, the last hope, and you need to save your planet that is dying because it's being attacked by the drainer. So while doing all of this, what you're going to do, you're going to explore, find secrets, unlock upgrades, build machines, some devices. In some cases, some small puzzle, but it's not the scope of the game, but still you have to find a few things to resolve some puzzle. And then basically, yeah, that's it. That's the game. And of course, you're going to encounter, different type of creatures, because that's something we invest really a lot of energy. The richness of the fauna, I'm sorry.
Fauna, yeah.
Fauna, thank you. And the creatures themselves. Fighting mechanics.
Yeah.
It's something we invested a lot of time in it, exactly as you said, because we don't want to build the game, like maybe other traditional games. I would say that, for example, you get this type of gun, another type of gun, but you can always use, the same gun to kill all enemies. In this case, we wanted to create some weapons that are only going to work on some type of enemy. So in some cases, forcing you to switch weapon while you're engaging many enemies. And that's something that we have been revamping a lot recently to mix different type of enemies, to get a much richness experience and challenging, I would say.
What sort of games inspired Spheriums? What did you draw influence from, if any?
Like I was saying before the beginning of the interview, something we had played a lot was Astroneer.
Yeah.
And because of its visual, kind of a simple visual, and it's really something we appreciate, and something that was some kind of inspiration at the beginning of the design of the game itself. Empyrean as well. It was a game for searching some resources. It was an inspiration as well, but we knew that with the limited team we had, the two of us, so create something with the kind of complexity would not be possible. So we kept this mechanism of finding resources, but we kept it a bit more simple. But it was the inspiration. Although a lot of games are using those kind of mechanics. So
yes,
so I would say those. But one thing we tried to do, and we tried more at the beginning and less as we got along, was to try to do something totally different. And we realized that it would have been interesting, but it would have taken a lot of work, and a lot of work in advance to be able to do something that much different from other games. So we have our differences, but the player will will be comfortable with some concept that are more similar to what they're used to have in games.
When you were developing Spheriums, you've really sort of drilled down and focused on certain areas, sort of i.e. gameplay. Could you elaborate on that? What sort of what did you sort of decide to focus on when you sort of like you want to get something really right?
Yeah, sure. Well, there was a few points. The first one, as you mentioned, is the visual.
Yeah.
GP and I really like something that was really colorful, something that can create some sort of emotional responsiveness from the user when he's going to play the game. And to always have this sense of, oh, let's go to the right or let's go to the left and let's try to find something, and all those colors, popping up. And we wanted something also which is a little bit stylized, naive, because also, we need to compensate for the fact that we need to create those assets. And as Jean-Pierre was saying, I mean, he's the Blender type, he's the Blender guy, and he's been working like crazy, creating all those nice creatures and, trees and all of this. But we needed to do something we're able to do. So that's why all this visual, and I have to say, we are very proud of it. The fighting mechanic was the second one. We wanted to do something really different, as I explained earlier. So we invest a lot of time in there. And then the AI diversity, yes, because creatures, and this is not as easy as we thought, creating AI. I mean, we have so many creatures, and to try to give them their own personality, it's hard. It's something that we need to tweak and tweak and tweak again. And even I was speaking today, yesterday night, GP and I, again, we were tweaking some of the AI and how do we mix enemies. So when the player encounter them, it's going to be fun. It's a constant challenge, I have to say. And the last one is that we wanted to build a game also that was going to be accessible for the whole family. Because, in today's game, you have a lot of game with a lot of blood and a lot of stuff like this. And we wanted to try to do something which is, yes, it's still a shooter. You need to shoot some enemies. But we try to give them, no human notion. It's really abstract. So, everyone can play the game, and we believe it's accessible. It's also easy to grasp some of the concepts. So those are the main points. Maybe I missed something, Jean-Pierre, that you want to add up on this, but that's basically the thing we wanted to focus on.
Yeah. We would say that we had to work on the story as well.
Yeah.
We want to keep the consistency in the story. Maybe not have something that is very, very complex. I would say it's quite a simple story, but to keep the consistency in terms of asset, the way they look and where they're placed, and what is because we have two different civilizations, one against the other, the Spheriums and the Drainers, and we want to keep a signature for each of them and keeping that in the story. And it was more iterative that we would have thought at the beginning. We had to change the story, something we thought would bring us to the end, and no, it has to be tuned as we went along.
Spheriums is currently available and it's in Steam in early access. But what have you found to be the biggest challenges in development? I suppose you've kind of answered it a little bit already. But do you have anything sort of to add aside from what you've mentioned already?
Well, if you take the development in general, in terms of developing a game and not necessarily the specific of the technical aspect of the development, I would say that realizing how much marketing is important was a big thing. We knew it from the beginning. We had read and listened to all types of interviews that were saying that, but when you're caught into the technical aspect and you're a small team of two, well, it's easy to neglect, because obviously if you have nothing to market, it was not our plan to go to something where you market everything, then you get found and you design your game. We were more into you design your game and your marketing. So you're marketing it. So it was something that we when we launched it on Steam, that we learned that, oh, it's true. You really have to take special care in marketing it properly, and all the events that we in which we participate, like sales and things like that, were very brought us some very good learning experience, and to understand what is the dynamic behind all those steps that we should maybe have done a little bit more, but we're
Yeah.
catching up, and I think we'll get it to work.
What I want to
Thanks.
ask is, how's the game evolved from working on it based on player feedback for your community?
Oh my God, a lot. I mean, when we had many times some beta, okay, some people helping us, that test the game, and there is a big difference on when you think sometimes something is good, and at the end it's maybe not that good. So it's very good to have player feedback, and it forces us to rethink some of the concept of the game. We like the big difference right now between what you have in early access on Steam and what we're going to release is that most of the worlds that are already available have been revamped, because we have enhanced the AI based on the feedback. We have changed a little bit the design of the game itself, of the worlds, because we realized, for example, it was hard to travel. It was hard to find some resources. We introduced, the notion of scanning, the notion of maps, and we introduced the notion, of how we manage the energy versus the shield. And all of those was feedback from the players that help us, in fact, create a better game. I think the biggest challenge is, to fine tune all those elements, because you can put all of the big pieces. I think that's quite straightforward, but after that, to really make them work seamlessly together and that the overall balance is good, this is where the challenge is. And this is where, only two people working together, we have all good ideas, we're challenging each other constantly, but having other people's really make a big difference. And because of that, we're almost like 2 years in the development of this game. We didn't think it was going to take that much of time, I have to say. But at the end, we're going to ship a better game, I think, because of that. So in fact, I want to say kudos to all of the people that helped us so far, because without them, we wouldn't be there today.
Brilliant.
Going a little bit in more details about some of the feedback we had. When we started the design of the game, we wanted a game with a lot of vagueness in what you have to do, like true. Some games that we played in the past that you don't know and you discover as you go along. But it proved that because we were very much into the game, obviously, by developing it, we assumed too much things, and when we put it in the hands of the testers, it was not as clear at all. And people would email us to say, how do I enter this building? How do I find those resources? And it quickly evolved in a game where you were much more guided through it. That's where we introduced the map, when we introduced the scanning part of the game, where you can scan your surroundings to find key elements of the game. And honestly, those were big improvement, and as soon as we put them back into the hand of the tester, it was clear that the choice, it was a good choice.
Decision, right?
I know you have previously announced a release window. Have you narrowed that down any further from what you last announced?
Well,
could you elaborate?
Yes, we can. We are still on track to deliver this summer.
This summer, excellent.
This summer, yes. I know that it's a large time frame, but our things are evolving. So, but yeah, we're still on track for the Steam version and the version for the Windows Store, for the Xbox Live Windows version. But maybe we are a little bit at risk for the Xbox Series X and S at the same times. So in the worst case scenarios, the Series X and S would be like early fall, so a little bit after. Sure. But I have a good news here. The game runs on the Series X and S perfectly. Frame rate is good already, so optimization is not going to be a big deal. But it's just that with two people, it's so many things to do at the same times. But we're on track, so we are very happy about this. And after that, maybe mostly end of fall, yeah, we want to go all the way also to support the Xbox One X and the Xbox One S. Of course, those platforms are less powerful, so maybe some improvement for the frame rate, but skimming down some of the asset in some cases. Well, we're going to see. It's running also as well, but will require a little bit more work, and we also want to evaluate the Nintendo. So, but no plan for this yet, but we are looking at the Nintendo platform.
You're looking at the Nintendo. Do you think you might look to PlayStation as well, or is that maybe something further out?
I would say it's something further out for the reason that it's a little bit more difficult for an indie company to publish right now, I would say, on the Sony PlayStation.
I see,
as opposed that,
that.
The Xbox ecosystem and Nintendo are very open for indie developers. So it's easier to submit your title and to have some feedback. But yes, definitely. I mean, if there is a market, we're going to look into it. But let's say that what we just told you right now, it's our main focus.
Yes, of course. Yeah. You need to complete certain things before you move on to the next thing. Hey.
Yes.
Although,
and you have,
go ahead. Sorry. Although we will probably be able to squeeze Linux and Mac in between those release as well.
True.
We had some success running it on Linux as well, but we want to test it properly to make sure we give it to people and we don't give them problems as well. So, but it's very likely that those platforms will be supported in this time frame as well.
Okay, well that's good. That's great. Oh, it sounds like you guys. I mean, I know you've been working hard but yeah, well done. Especially in this with the whole COVID and everything, it's made development a real challenge. I suppose the advantage you've had in some ways also is that it's you too. Not having to sort of not
I would say that although COVID for us has probably been an opportunity for this adventure
to motivate us. Yes,
because anyway we were working from home. It was already in our model in terms of working. So, and because there was less things to do, we invested more time on development.
A lot. Not just
what? I'm pleased to hear that, because at least then there's some good. You're hearing about some good things coming out from COVID.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. But yeah. So look, I mean, I know that obviously you've said you're fully focused on updates moving towards launch. But do you have plans for post-launch content planned? And if so, are you willing to drop any hints? What these might be?
I would simply say that right now we don't know too much. It's something that is too much far away, and we have so much on our plate right now to deliver what we want to do that it's not out of the question. Definitely not. We have a lot of ideas regarding that, but I don't think we feel right now comfortable to share about it. We don't want to create bad expectation of stuff. So right now we focus on this, and after that, let's say that you would be the first one to know.
Okay, excellent. That's
so
great.
you will have a scoop. I promise.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's great. Look, guys, really exciting. It's going to be really exciting summer for you guys. Really pleased to hear everything's on track and going well. And hats off to you for all the hard work you're putting in. We'll be sure to if ever you want to talk about your game, we want to know all about it. So and you know, help show it off as well. So that's great. I think from a sort of from an interview point of view, I think that's everything that that I'm going to ask you right now. But do you want to tell the listeners where they can find you, and maybe sort of where they can find a download link for Spheriums or anything?
Yeah, definitely. Jean-Pierre, do you want to say it, or you want me to?
It's very easy. It's a Braintonik with a K.com. That's our website. Obviously, our page on Steam as well, and on those pages you'll find all our other all links to our social medias as well, Facebook and Twitter. So come to see it, and I think you'll be conquered by our game.
Definitely,
Just want to add
guys.
something.
Go for it.
Go and register to a Discord server.
As well.
We want to hear your feedback. We want to make a better game. So go there, ask us some questions. We're going to be very glad to answer them. And, you know, hopefully you're going to like our game, and we're going to make it better if you have some good feedback. Yeah, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, guys. Everyone,
Thanks.
you heard it. Go and check out Braintonik and Spheriums, and yeah, we'll be updating you as we get more information from the guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe, for this opportunity, and have a good day.
Thank
you very much.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.